What is going on, everybody? Deathspread here. This is a follow-up video, part 2 of a 3-part series where we read verbatim the terms and services that you agreed to when you start playing Call of Duty. Now, there are 2 disclaimers here. This is the second part where I'm doing the privacy policy, in my opinion the most important of the 3, but also something that I need to reiterate. So first, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, or rather I don't have a doctorate in any sort of legal field. I've never stepped foot in a courtroom, knock on wood, God willing, and I have never been in a position where I need to make legal decisions. I've never worked in the legal field, and I certainly have no formal education to be an authoritative voice on any of those subjects. Now, that said, I did go to college and earn a bachelor's in information technology and business, and I did have 1 class of legal environment and business, but that in no way is a stand-in for any sort of actual legal expertise nor experience. So that's the first disclaimer. Also, anything I say in this video when I do the in review of each section that we read is my own opinion. That is my own personal opinion. That is I am talking and trying my best to give you an idea of what we just read in case you don't have the time and you need the too long didn't read. So that is more so just to help you based on my knowledge. Again, when I tell you of something that I'm thinking about a section that we just read, it is not me speaking with 100% certainty. That is me speaking based on what we just read. Number 2, and the second disclaimer. This is it seems like part of the confusion about the first video, and this is very valid, is why am I even making this to begin with? If I don't have the authority, if I don't have the expertise, if I don't have the experience to do any of this, why try? Because the point isn't my commentary. The point of these videos is not so you can hear my point of view on the term of service or my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter. This is for your reference so that you can go into the description and look at each section and the title of the sections and see what the sections say about what you want to know. So for example, let's say one day it comes out I don't know, let's pick a random thing out of the magician's hat. Call of Duty has a DLL file that makes it so they can access your web camera, despite the fact that no Call of Duty ever needs to access your web camera, as well as be able to access your microphone even when you have the microphone inactive, according to the options within game, even though despite the fact that it doesn't need that, and even though you said for the game to not need your microphone, the game still accesses your microphone and also is able to read your facial expressions based on a patent that it has based on Activision back in 2022, 2023. So they can sell you more microtransactions and be able to push bundles onto you based on your expressions and your emotions and how you're feeling, so they could then put you into a different skill-based ranking system, and you can play different matches with different lobbies with different skill rankings so that you could be more encouraged to buy a bundle. Something like that. Totally random, of course. Is that something you agreed to? Well, I'm glad you asked. The point of this video is to help you learn and see what we all agreed to. I am not here to judge Activision, although I certainly do in my own free time. I am not here to judge the player base. I'm here just to read you the privacy policy so that if you have any questions, you can use this as a future guideline video so you don't have to go through and sift through an entire legal document. You can just go to this video, click on it, and go to that straight segment. There's no frills. There's no nothing like that. This is, again, an aid, not a commentary. All right? Hope that makes sense. All that said, I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can access this yourself in case you want to read along or you want to do this yourself. Number 1, if you go up here or click start on the controller, and then you go over to settings, go down to account and network, and go down to user agreements. Again, we did the end user license agreement. Please refer to previous video. I'll have it in the description as well as in title end card. Or this video where we have privacy policy. We are going to, however, go into Black Ops 6 and do this, and it is the same exact way. You go up to the settings on top right, or you click start, go over to settings, go down to account and network, and then you go down to user agreements. Again, we're going to do privacy policy. I don't know if they're the same. I'm going to be honest, this takes 2 to 3 hours to read, and it's quite a lot, and I don't feel like reading both Call of Duty and Black Ops 6's end user license agreement privacy policy terms of use. I certainly could, but I don't want to. I'm going to be honest. The Black Ops 6 is a current game. To me, that is more important to understand what you agreed to. I also do assume, and you should never assume, especially with legalese, but I do assume that they're the same. But don't assume. That is my opinion. All right, my opinion, not a legal authority. So, With all that said, buckle in, get ready. Here comes the privacy policy of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This does actually look shorter than the end user license agreement. We're going to start right now. Privacy policy. Welcome to Activision's privacy policy. This privacy policy was last updated on December 20th, 2022. Every day, millions of people worldwide use and enjoy Activision websites, products, and services. We appreciate your trust in our products and services. To provide you with great games and make them better, Activision Publishing Incorporated, bracket, open quote, Activision, end quote, end bracket, will collect both personal information and non-personal information, open bracket, collectively, open quote, information, close quote, close bracket. And I am going to, sidebar, not part of the privacy policy, I am going to do that every single time, simply because of transparency and accuracy. In case, let's say, you want to throw us on the background, I am always going to say open, close, bracket, or parenthesis, whatever. Just because it's the right thing to do in my mind. Going back to it. And act as a data controller regarding your personal information. We take care of how your information is processed and used. This privacy policy, bullet 1, explains how Activision collects, stores, and uses and transfers or discloses your information. And bullet 2 applies to all Activision websites, products, and services, open bracket, open quote, properties, close quote, close bracket. Activision Blizzard Group companies, and our partners, such as marketing partners and analytics providers, may use tracking technologies such as cookies and /or similar technologies on the properties. For more information about Activision's use of cookies and how you can withhold or withdraw your consent to using your data for targeted advertising purposes, please see our cookie policy, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket, which is also incorporated by reference into this privacy policy and made part of this privacy policy. If you have concerns about providing information to us or it being used as described in this privacy policy, you should not use our properties. Activision reserves the right to change this privacy policy anytime by posting a modified version at www.activision.com/legal/privacy-policy. So please review it frequently to ensure you are aware of any changes. If we make a material change to this privacy policy, we will provide appropriate notice in accordance with legal requirements. At such time, your continual use of the properties after notice of posting or notice of such changes constitutes your acknowledgement of this latest version of the privacy policy, and any future revisions. Please note, your use of this Activision website, product, or service is also subject to the terms of the Activision End User License Agreement available here, open bracket, support.activision.com/license, end bracket. And terms of use available here, open bracket, Activision, www.activision.com/uk/en/legal/terms-of-use, close bracket. Table of contents. 1. Scope of Activision privacy policy. 2. ESRB privacy certified program. 3. Information we collect and how to use it. That's a big one. 4. Children and parents. 5. Your choices. 6. Sharing information. 7. Security. 8. Information about your account and retention period. 9. Contacting us. 10. Users in the United States. 10A. Your U.S. privacy rights. 10B. Additional privacy information for California residents. 10C. Privacy information for Nevada residents. 11. Users in the EEA and the UK. 12. Disclosure to users outside of the US, the EEA, and the UK. 13. Disclosure to users in Japan. So, all of that preamble is just giving you a basic idea of a general 50,000 foot overview of what your expectations are as a player who continually uses their products. Which, it's funny, because it says your continued use of the properties no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Right here. Paragraph, I think it's 3. If you have any concerns about providing information to us or it being used as described in this privacy policy, you should not use our properties. So if you're concerned about your privacy, it doesn't say you should contact us. It says, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a frog in my throat. It says you should not use our properties. So hey, any and all Call of Duty players, if you're concerned about your privacy, according to the privacy policy that you agree to, Don't even use it. Don't even play. Which goes back to the whole, don't like it, don't buy it. So, hey, you know, is what it is. All right. Section 1. Scope of Activision privacy policy. This privacy policy applies to all properties, including Bullet 1, Activision websites, online products and services. Bullet 2, Activision console games. And Bullet 3, Activision mobile games and applications. This privacy policy does not apply to third-party websites, online properties, or systems to which our properties may link or through which our properties may be accessed, and you accept Activision is not responsible for the security or privacy practices of any such third-party websites, properties, or systems. Sometimes we may direct you to a site operated by a vendor or partner. Even though the page where you provide information may have the look and feel of the properties, a different privacy policy may govern that information collection by our vendor or partner. This privacy policy does not cover information provided when you apply for a job at Activision. Please refer here, www.activision.com/legal/applicant privacy policy, open bracket, close bracket, for more information. So, what's really interesting here is it actually mentions, because it's the end of section 1, it mentions the partnership. And that's fascinating because really the only one I could think of off the top of my head would be the what do you call it? The sound, headphone. You know what I mean? Like when you had the buying a better headphone experience sort of thing, that was through a third party. But here they state, obviously, that's a different product, different service. It's just a partner of ours, but that's still governed by a different privacy policy. And that's totally standard practice as far as I'm aware. Section 2, ESRB Privacy Certified Program. Activision is a valid licensee and participating member in the Entertainment Software Rating Board's Privacy Certified Program. Open bracket, open quote, ESRB Privacy Certified, close quote, close bracket. Open bracket, www.esrb.org/privacy/FAQ.ASPX #10. Close bracket. To protect your privacy, we have voluntarily undertaken this privacy initiative. ESRB Privacy Certified has reviewed and certified that we meet established online information collection and we use practices on all Activision properties where this privacy policy is posted and a privacy certified seal is displayed. As part of the ESRB Privacy Certified Program, we are subjects to audits of our properties and other enforcement and accountability mechanisms administered independently by ESRB Privacy Certified. Whenever you visit properties that display the ESRB Privacy Certified certification seal, you may request information about Bullet 1, whether a company uses cookies, tracks IP addresses, or uses other passive means to collect information. Bullet 2, who, if anyone, is collecting your personal information, how it will be used. Bullet 3, with whom, if anyone, will your personal information be shared. Bullet 4, what choices you have regarding the use of your personal information. Bullet 5, how you can access and change the personal information a company collects and maintains. Bullet 6, whether and how information is collected from children under 13. Bullet 7, how a company ensures data security, quality, and integrity. And Bullet 8, where and how to ask questions or file complaints. Disclaimer. Although ESRB Privacy Certified does not monitor non-English properties, Activision makes all best efforts to ensure that non-English properties adhere to applicable data collection guidance and principles set forth by ESRB Privacy Certified, including adherence to EU and other territorial regulations outside the US. If you believe that we have not responded to your inquiry or your inquiry has not been satisfactorily addressed, please contact the ESRB Privacy Certified at www.esrb.org/privacy/contact or privacy@esrb.org. End section 2. Okay, so this is actually kind of fascinating. So we know that the ESRB and Activision, not that they're in bed, I'm not going to say that, but obviously Activision has to adhere by the ESRB, right? As part of the ESRB Privacy Certified Program, we are subject to audits of our properties and other enforcement accountability. And that's done independently by the ESRB. Whenever you visit properties that display the ESRB Privacy Certified certification seal, which Activision is, you may request information about. And those 8 bullet points that I pointed out, meaning if you have about any of those 8 bullets, according to their own privacy policy, concerns about how Activision uses any of that information, gathers it, whatever else it is, you can contact the ESRB. It's almost like going above Activision's head. You don't have to go to Activision. You can go straight to the ESRB and say, hey, I have a concern. These guys are a privacy certified, you know, what's going on? How are they doing this or that? Like, so let's say, for example, you're concerned about well, it says whenever you visit properties. I assume that means you play the game. Because I was going to say, if you visit their website, but I think it goes beyond just their website because you're accessing the game, which has a seal as an Activision product. So as such, you are totally within your right to go to ESRB and say, how is the company of Activision, and say, how, or rather, not how are they, but who is collecting my personal information and how is it going to be used? So let's say, for example, you have a question about Activision, right? And you want to know how they're using your data. Just email privacy@esrb.org and explain to them. Or go to the esrb.org/privacy/contact and fill out whatever forms are on there, or whatever it is. My point is, they, as a company that's audited by the ESRB privacy certified people independently of Activision, it's almost like the FDA, right? And when a health inspector goes to a restaurant, are they following health standards? Well, okay, you're still able as a consumer of that restaurant, of that product, to go to the health board committee and request a copy of the report. That is totally within your legal right, at least as a U.S. citizen. I don't know about outside the U.S. That's almost the same exact thing here, but instead of a restaurant and safety with privacy, which is still safety. So that's pretty fascinating. That's something to put a kind of a feather in your cap for. Again, though, reiterate, I'm not a legal expert. That's my understanding. Okay. It's the end of Section 2. Section 3. Information we collect and how we use it. Activision collects information about you from you and other sources, as set up below in greater detail, as well as in Section 10 for U.S. residents. We use and, in specific cases, combine that information to operate, tailor content, personalize, adjust, and improve our properties, and to send you messages or personalized information about our games, your scores, new features, and more, including for marketing and promotional purposes. In addition, we use your information to operate our business, including analyzing our performance, meeting our legal obligations, and for recruitment purposes in the U.S. Information provided by you. As set out in more detail in the following, Activision may collect information from you when you A. create an Activision account with a property, B. use our properties, C. participate in sweepstakes, contests, and promotions, D. use Activision customer service, E. choose to receive newsletters on products and services, receiving marketing emails, and/or participate in services, F. receive mobile advertising, G. buy Activision services or products online, or H. allow sharing through social media. Alright. I think this is the one that a lot of people are waiting for. Here we go. 3A. Creation of an Activision account. Activision will collect certain information from you when you register with a property. Personal information collected during registration includes your first and last name, email address, username, and in specific cases, phone number. This personal information is combined with other information such as your date of birth, country, and information about your interests in and use of various products, programs and services, and marketing preferences. Additionally, we collect and combine information when you link a third-party account to your Activision account, such as the username or user ID associated with a third-party account, and the use of certain properties may require you to link a third-party account to your Activision account. 3B. Use of our properties. When you visit or use our properties, we collect, process, and/or combine information about your use of those properties, such as websites you visited before and after you use a property, browser type and language, IP address, hardware and software information, advertising ID, third-party account information, open bracket, e.g. the username associated with your platform provider account, close bracket, gameplay data, communications, usage data, purchase histories, and social media data. We use cookies and/or similar technologies, open bracket, collectively called open quote cookies, close quote, close bracket, to do this. In addition, we or our partners, also use cookies and advertising IDs to serve ads in our properties. Please see our cookie policy, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket, for more details. Activision collects, processes, and combines data such as your age, gender, interests, name, email address, gameplay, marketing preferences, customer service, and device-related information. Activision also publicly displays certain information about you including third-party account information and gameplay information on the properties or the properties operated by our third-party partners and licenses. For example, your platform provider username will be displayed on leaderboards if you are a top player in a certain Activision game, whether or not you have an Activision account. If you have synced a third-party account with your Activision account, we, or our third-party partners or licenses, may make your username available to be searched by other users if you have not opted out of this feature. You may unlink the third-party account or prevent it from being searched or your information from being shared with third-party partners or licensees at any time through your Activision profile settings. To provide fair gaming experience to all players, Activision uses anti-fraud, anti-cheat, and anti-toxicity technologies to prevent any cheating and bad behavior in our games. In addition to the information described above, Activision may monitor and/or record your gameplay and communications, open bracket, including without limitation, chat, text, or voice communications, close bracket, and activities on your device, including information about the programs running alongside the game, as specified in the applicable terms of use or end user license agreement. I'm going to take a breath here. All right, not part of the privacy policy. Section 3B is huge. That right there, you agreed for them to collect your IP address. I know that's a big thing going around right now because of all the data that people are requesting from Activision. But, I mean, you just read what they're able from the beginning of 3B and what they're able to collect. I mean, that's not nothing. And there's a lot more to go. All right, back to this. 3C, sweepstakes, contests, and promotions. When Activision runs contests or promotions on our properties, we collect certain information from participants, such as their name, address, postal code, email address, phone number, age, and/or date of birth, or other information or content submitted by you. We may also need to collect additional information in order for you to claim a prize. That information will be combined with other account information and will be used and shared under this privacy policy. 3D, interact with customer service. To be able to provide you with customer service and assist you with resolving any issues you may have, Activision collects information from you, including your contact details, together with details of your customer service issue and its resolution. 3E, receive newsletters on products and services, receive marketing and/or surveys. Activision offers you the ability to receive newsletters or marketing periodically by email, in-app notifications, or SMS in eligible countries about our products and services or products or Activision offers, or services that may be of interest to you. We also may occasionally send you surveys to improve player experience with our games. At any time, you can manage your preferences from your account settings to stop receiving further newsletters by unsubscribing from the link in the footbar of each email we send to you, by opting out of in-app notifications, or by following the instructions in the SMS we send to you. If you're a U.S. resident, you're subject to the SMS terms of use, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/SMS-terms-use, close bracket. If I say / or / I use them interchangeably, just so you're aware. F, mobile advertising. Our mobile games include advertising for third-party products and services. By accepting this privacy policy and downloading or continuing to play our mobile games, and unless you opt out of interest-based advertising as explained in our cookie policy, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket, you consent to us and our advertising partners collecting, sharing, and using information about you to show you relevant third-party ads that might interest you in our mobile games, and to improve advertising, targeting, and measurement systems. When you play our mobile games, we collect and share information, including advertising IDs, non-personal identifiers, and other information from your mobile device with advertising partners to enable technical delivery of ads to your device. Our advertising partners may combine this information with information which they have collected about you when you use their services, open bracket, or the websites or services third parties, close bracket, to serve you more relevant ads in our mobile games or to improve the accuracy of their targeting and measurement systems. We recommend that you review our advertising partners' privacy policies for more information, accessible in our cookie policy, open bracket, at www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket. You can review your options to manage and opt out of mobile advertising by 1. Advertising your mobile device developer's website or reviewing your device manual. Most mobile device developers will tell you how you can manage the settings on your mobile device to opt out of and/or delete cookies from your mobile device, or to limit the use of your advertising ID, reset your advertising ID, and/or opt out of targeted advertising. Or 2, by visiting optout.networkadvertising.org/C=1 and/or youronlinechoices.com, or if you're in the EU, youronlinechoices.eu/ for choices to opt out of advertising. You can also click on the Add Choices logo within an advertisement, open bracket, where available, close bracket. Please note, adjusting your preferences as described in this section does not mean you will no longer receive advertisements. It only means that the ads you do see will be less relevant to your interests. We will also still use your device's advertising ID to serve you with ads that may be less relevant to you. For example, we may use this for frequency capping, open bracket, in other words, to control the maximum number of times you see the same ad from us, close bracket. 3G. Buy Activision products or services online. Activision does not collect credit card and/or billing information when you purchase products or services, open bracket, such as digital content, close bracket, online. However, you may have to provide credit card and/or billing information to one of our third-party vendors to complete a purchase. We encourage you to review the privacy policy of our third-party vendors before providing them with your personal information, as their privacy policies may vary from ours. At the time of purchase, in specific cases, you also have the option to provide information, open bracket, such as your email address, close bracket, to Activision to send you additional information or offers. 3H. Social media. You can interact with some properties through social networking sites, open bracket, or social media plugins and applications, close bracket, open bracket, open quote, social media, close quote, close bracket. When you interact with Activision and/or the properties through social media, you acknowledge that we access your information such as name, username, or profile picture solely under your social media privacy settings, and we use it to tailor content, marketing, and improve and adjust user experience relating to Activision properties. And 1, give you exclusive content. 2, personalize your online experience with us within and outside our properties. And 3, contact you under applicable marketing preferences through social media, including through providing tailored marketing or directly by sending you the latest news, special offerings, and rewards. When you post personal information publicly through the properties or social media, it will be viewable by other users of these sites, and we cannot prevent further use of the personal information by third parties. For more information about how your social media uses and protects your personal information, please refer to their privacy policies and terms of use. Information provided by other sources. We may also obtain information such as contact details, open bracket, for example, name and email address, close bracket, country, IP address, purchase histories, marketing preferences, cookie information, hardware and software information, other technical information about you from other sources such as Activision Blizzard Group companies, social media, our vendors, open bracket, for example, event ticket providers, merchandise vendors, and data aggregators, close bracket, or partners, open bracket, for example, advertisers, media partners, or platform providers, close bracket, and combine that with information we have collected from or about you. We only collect information from other sources where they have confirmed to us they're legally entitled to share it with us. We use cookies to provide and support our properties in each of the uses outlined and described above. Please see our cookie policy, www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket, for more information. And section 3. Of all this, honestly, this is very good to know your rights, because this outlines pretty much what they're able to access, and I'm not going to lie, it's everything. If you access one of their Call of Duty, if you access COD Mobile, they have unfiltered access to your device, and it's kind of scary, because this includes, like, your purchase history, and I don't think they mean just on Activision website, or their properties. Like, if you, let's say, get an advertisement on Etsy, on Activision, right? That would mean, I believe, again, I cannot confirm this, but this is an example of my understanding of this, and I'm not a legal expert, that Etsy is a advertising partner with Activision, and as such, they are able to access your Etsy personal privacy, including purchase history, through Etsy themselves. Not saying that's what Etsy's doing, that's just a random name I took out of my brain. So if you look at section 3, letter B, it just, I mean, hardware, software, this is what they can access just by accessing their stuff. Hardware and software information, advertising ID, third-party account information like your username on the platform provider account. Again, say Etsy, they have your username on Etsy. Gameplay data, communications, usage data, purchase histories, and social media data. By the way, it outright says that they can record you. You are being recorded. Whenever you talk in-game, your voice is being recorded. Full stop. And that is not a conspiracy. That is not some, blame truth, Codfather, harebrained thought, or it's not some neurocinema theory as well. That's more quote-unquote more grounded than him. This is just straight out privacy policy. They're recording your voice. You gave them access. But yeah, section 3 is extremely unnerving, I would call it, but it is what it is. Welcome to modern world. Section 4, children and parents. Oh, by the way, there was no shade to Nero Cinema nor Blame Truth. I love them both. I adore their channels, and I think that they are the best COD YouTubers out there. Not including the zombies community. Tim Hansen, my beloved. But, regardless. Section 4, children and parents. Activision does not knowingly collect or store any personal information from children under 13 in the U.S. or under the relevant age threshold in other jurisdictions where a child is located. However, we may collect technical information required for delivering the service and for the support of our internal operations from all users of our properties. If parents believe that we have unintentionally collected their children's other personal information or otherwise used their children's personal information for another purpose, they may contact us via the contacting us section below. We recognize a special need to protect the personal information of children. We urge parents to instruct their children to never give out their real names, addresses, phone numbers, or any other personal information without parental permission when online. Activision also recommends that parents familiarize themselves with parental controls available on consoles, mobile telephones, tablets, and other devices they provide to their children and accompany their children when online. Please see the ESRB's parental controls page available here, www.esrb.org/tools-for-parents/parental-controls/close bracket. For further details, parents should contact Activision immediately if they have any concerns. Please see the contacting us section below for further details. That one speaks for itself. If you have a child and if they're 13 or under, or I guess technically under 13, just be careful. Always be careful with children. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I have a big soft spot whenever I think about what information could be leaked online due to the inability to understand from a child, and it's it does. I have an IT degree, and that's big, so always be careful with children. Always. But regardless, section 5, your choices. You have choices over the information provided by you and other sources, and how that information is used by Activision. You can exercise your choices by updating your preferences at any time, and also by managing your settings on your devices and third-party accounts. Your choices about information provided by you. If you do not want to provide Activision personal information, then you can choose not to provide it. If you choose not to provide us with personal information, we may not always be able to provide you with the Activision product service you want. For example, though providing an email address, you cannot create an Activision account. Your choices about information provided by third parties. You may be able to control how third parties collect and share your information by changing your preferences or opting out of collection directly with those third parties. Before disclosing information to third parties, we recommend you check their respective privacy policies for further details. Your choices about Activision using your information. You can exercise choices over how Activision uses your personal information and update your preferences at any time. Bullet 1. To remove yourself from individual contests or promotions, unlink a third-party account or prevent it from being searched or information being shared with third-party partners or licensees, or opt out of receiving marketing or newsletters from Activision. Simply access your account from www.activision.com/ and edit your preferences. You will need your password to access your account. Bullet 2. To opt out of marketing communications, follow the directions in the communications you received. To unsubscribe from communications from Activision Blizzard Group companies, please unsubscribe using information in their emails or privacy policies. Bullet 3. To disable selected cookies from collecting information relating to the effectiveness of advertising campaigns or analytics data, and from serving you with personalized advertising on our properties or third-party properties, please see our cookie policy, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/cookie-policy, close bracket. If you opt out of receiving marketing communications from us, please note we may still contact you occasionally about the status of your account, such as to inform you your account may be expiring or for other services-related information. If you are a user in the European Economic Area, open bracket, open quote, EEA, close quote, close bracket, or the UK, and would like to know more about your rights in connection with your personal information, please see the Users in EEA section below. If you reside in the United States and would like to know more about your rights in connection with your personal information, please see the Your U.S. Privacy Rights section below. If you are a resident of California or Nevada and would like to know more about your rights in connection with your personal information, please see the Additional Privacy Information or California Residents section or Privacy Information for Nevada Residents section below. Alright, so that's the end of section 5. You can choose how to tell Activision what you want them to use, but be cautious because telling them that you don't want them to use a certain thing could result in you being barred from accessing certain services by Activision. So, double-edged sword. Also, in case you're wondering, we are going to read everything in this from top to bottom because this is a video online on YouTube and anybody can access it from any point in the world, including Nevada or California or the EEA or the UK or the US. So I'm just going to read it all so everybody knows what they signed up for. Anyway, Section 6. Sharing information. As set out, with greater detail below, and in Section 10 for U.S. residents, Activision shares information. Bullet 1. With the various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/entities, close bracket, including for the group company's own marketing purposes. Bullet 2. With vendors, third-party partners, and licensees engaged by Activision to provide you with goods or services you have requested, or online advertising selected by us, or create applications and websites that benefit our player community. Bullet 3. If required to do so by applicable law, regulation, or legal processes. Bullet 4. If necessary to exercise, establish, or defend our legal rights. Bullet 5. If necessary to protect the rights, property, or safety of any person. And Bullet 6. In connection with the sale of our business or assets. Any information, including personal information, you reveal in a bulletin board, message board, chat room, or other public forum is publicly viewable. 6.1. Activision Blizzard Group companies. We disclose your information with the various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/entities, close bracket, including for the group company's own marketing purposes. Activision is not responsible for the privacy policies of the Activision Blizzard Group companies, and the use of your information by the group companies will be governed by those specific companies' privacy policies, which you may find on each company's website. 6.2. Vendors, partners, and licensees. Vendors and partners provide goods and services, open bracket, for example, platform providers, media partners, event ticket providers, merchandise vendors, tournament providers, survey providers, billing, consumer services support, consultancy, information technology, hardware, and software, close bracket, to Activision to support, operate, and develop the properties, and to deliver marketing communications on our behalf. Vendors use your information to execute, deliver, and/or occasionally improve the services they provide. We do not share information with vendors to use for their own direct marketing purposes or any other purpose other than those set out in this section without your consent. We also share some of our players' information, open bracket, for example, gameplay information, close bracket, with our third-party partners and licensees who create applications and websites that benefit our player community, open bracket, for example, tournaments, leaderboards, and gameplay statistic tools, close bracket. 6.3. Law. We will disclose your information in the good faith belief we must do so by law, including but not limited to disclose to law enforcement or other government officials in connection with an investigation of fraud, intellectual property infringements, or other activity that is illegal or may expose you or us to legal liability. This may include responding to legal requests from jurisdictions outside the United States where we have a good faith belief that the response is required by law in that jurisdiction, affects users in that jurisdiction, and is consistent with internationally recognized standards. 6.4. Legal rights. We will disclose your information where necessary for the purpose of exercising, establishing, or defending our legal rights. For example, we will review your gameplay, communications, and other account information to investigate allegations of cheating, hacking, or any other breach or alleged breach of any applicable terms of use or this privacy policy, and disclose your personal information, including communications, to our legal advisors, consultants, and law enforcement or other government officials. 6.5. Protecting others. We disclose your information with third parties where we believe this is necessary to protect the rights, property, or safety of any person. For example, we disclose information relating to an online account if we in good faith believe the user of that account is using it in ways that are harmful to others, open bracket, e.g. making inappropriate contact with minors, close bracket. 6.6. Sale of our business or assets. Separately, in the event of a merger, acquisition, reorganization, bankruptcy, or similar event, Activision's customer information, including information and communications, may be transferred to our successor or assigned. And Section 6. Really, really interesting. I really want to reread this almost just for myself here, but 6.3. Law. We will disclose your information in good faith belief. We must do so by law, including but not limited to disclosure to law enforcement or other government officials in connection with an investigation of fraud, intellectual property infringements, or other activity that is illegal or may expose you or us to legal liability. So, something that came out recently about Activision, to keep you on the up and up, really, is Activision was found to be running possible bot farms. Now, this is not me stating this as fact. This is not part of the privacy policy. This is speculation, all right? And it is something that I do not have a horse in a race of, but it is interesting that there was a patent that just about confirms Activision at least has thought of conducting a bot farm, which is a federal, I believe it's called a bot farm, if I remember from my IT degree, which is a federal crime. Which, according to this, they're willing to disclose customer information if it's connected with activity that is illegal or may expose you or us to legal liability. Which almost makes it seem like they're using the collection they gather as a bargaining chip should something ever get brought up, like, say, a federal crime. It's interesting. And 4 is also kind of interesting, talking about how the legal rights work with the advisors and consultants, yada yada. But that's Section 6. Section 7. Security. As set out in detail below, Activision takes a range of security measures designed to help protect your information. However, complete online and offline security can never be guaranteed, so you should always take care when sharing your information online. Activision takes a range of security measures designed to protect your personal information and keep it confidential, open bracket, unless it is non-confidential by nature, for example, publicly available information like user-generated content, leaderboard rankings and scores, etc., close bracket. We also take steps to ensure that the personal information collected is protected from misuse and alteration. In addition, we request vendors who process personal information on our behalf to themselves take a range of security measures designed to help protect your personal information. However, the internet by its nature is not a secure environment, and the nature of security risks is constantly evolving, as are the technical and organizational industry standards relating to management of those risks. The complete security of any personal information collected, stored, or used by us or our vendors cannot therefore be guaranteed. Alright, end of Section 7. That is the most, probably, internally, I'm thinking to myself, yes, thank you for saying that. Activision is a company, and at the end of the day, they do good things, they do bad things. And this is an example. Section 3B, I would say, is a very questionable thing. I do not agree with a lot of the stuff that they stated that they collect, morally. However, Section 7 should be stated, and I'm glad that they advise us to be careful. You should always be careful online. There is no such thing as a lock and key information online. It's very nerve-wracking when you really take the time to look at how much of your information is available online. You should always take the greatest care to protect yourself. Even Activision, of all people, are telling you to do that. So, be careful out there, guys. And that comes from the Activision mouth. Section 8. Information about your account and retention period. As set out in more detail below, you can view, correct, update, or request the deletion of your personal information in any of your Activision accounts at any time. If for any reason you wish to view, correct, or update personal information collected about you, or if you want to deactivate your Activision account, simply access your Activision account through www.activision.com/ or another product or service as applicable and edit your personal information. You will need your password to access your personal account. You may also send us an email asking us to deactivate your account at privacy@activision.com. If for any reason you are concerned with the way we are using personal information or would like to correct or request that we delete such personal information, you can send your request to us using the contact details set out in the contacting us section below. Retention period. We delete your personal information, which we process for the performance of the contract or based on your consent in case you terminate your contract with us, deactivate your Activision account, withdraw your consent, or where you request us to delete your personal information in accordance with its privacy policy. As an exception, we will not delete your personal information where we still have a legitimate interest to use your personal information. For example, we may still retain your information to resolve disputes, enforce our terms of use or other user agreements, or comply with legal requirements. In this case, your personal information will be blocked from use for any purpose. In any case, we will not retain or use your personal information longer than necessary for the purposes outlined in this privacy policy. Due to technical reasons, residual copies of information that has been removed from your account and/or the properties may remain in our backup systems for approximately 1 month. End of section 8. All right, so that is actually very important to know. This goes back to your rights as a consumer, but also your rights as somebody who uses technology. Your information is always backed up, and there is always, and even if there isn't, you still assume there's always a copy of the information that you have put in online. Cookies are copied, cookies are backed up. Even when you use a VPN, for example, and this is totally a side tangent, but this is a good example of what they're saying. Even when you use a VPN, yeah, your internet service provider cannot locate your internet protocol address, or excuse me, that's not what it's saying, but you know what I mean. They cannot locate your IP address accessing a website because it's masked, but the VPN can. The VPN provider has your IP address. That's how they mask it. They take it, they rework it, they send it back out. They are the middleman. As a middleman, they have access to your IP. That IP address, they have records of what you accessed. That's just how VPNs work, because there's always a backup, which is why you should always buy a VPN that has RAM-based servers or memory, and not hard copy. But total sidebar out of the way. That's an example of what they're saying. There's always a way for something to be backed up. But in the case of the VPN, where it is RAM-based memory or RAM-based saving, the RAM eventually will delete itself and or be deleted in time to make space. That's how it works. It's a revolving door of information, goes in one side, goes out the other side after a few rotations. So even if you tell Activision you want their legal team or their IT team to delete your personal information, they're still going to have a backup, but it's eventually going to be deleted for approximately 1 month, unless there's a legal requirement. Let's say you, for example, are doing things with minors, which you shouldn't do. They're going to need to keep that information and those records or whatever it is on their servers in case there is assuming there's prior to your request of deletion, a trial or some sort of legal authority looking into the case. So it's one of those things that's very important to know. Yes, you have rights. Yes, you can request your things to be deleted. And yes, it will eventually be deleted, but there are always exceptions to this, both legally and just technologically. It's just the way of the beast. Section 9, contacting us. To contact us, you can send us an email at privacy@activision.com or write to us at Activision Publishing, Incorporated, Inc., period, 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, CA 90404, ATTN, attention, privacy team /privacy policy, or call privacy team /privacy policy PH +1 310-255-2000. For visitors from the EEA and the UK, you may also contact our data protection officer by email at dpo@activision.com. You may also contact ESRB Privacy Certified if you have a question or complaint that has not yet been resolved. To your satisfaction. Please see the ESRB's Privacy Certified Program section at the top of this privacy policy for further details. I believe we are officially halfway according to the thing on the right. Woohoo! Section 10. And we have 3 more sections to go. So this is going to be... Oh, yeah. Section 10 is where we get into the weeds. Look at that. Oh, boy. All right. Let me set up for this one. Section 10. Users in the U.S. In addition to the information provided throughout this privacy policy, state privacy laws in the United States require that we disclose to consumers in those states additional information about the processing of their personal information. Below, we describe the purposes for which we use and disclose personal information. For each purpose, the categories of personal information we use and disclose, and the categories of third parties to whom we disclose the personal information. Bullet 1. Service functionality. We use certain personal information to provide you with our properties, products, and services, including to take steps to create an account, enter a contract for sale, or for services, facilitate purchases or process payments, fulfill orders, send service communications, provide customer service functions, and conduct general business operations, such as accounting, record keeping, and audits, analyzing our performance, meeting our legal obligations, and recruiting. Bullet 2. Service improvement. To improve and grow our properties, including to verify and maintain the quality of our services, develop new products and services, and understand how our properties are being used, our customer base, and purchasing trends, and the effectiveness of our marketing. Bullet 3. Personalization. To offer you recommendations and tailor properties to your preferences. The personal information we collect and use these properties includes... I don't know what to call this, so I'm just going to read them. I'm not even going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can read along. Personal information provided by you. Contact information, including name, username, date of birth, email address, telephone number. Demographic information, including your gender, date of birth, and country. Payment information, collected by our third-party payment processors to complete a purchase. Information that you provide when you register with a property, including when you link a third-party account and to your Activision account. Audio-visual information. Information contained in your communications to us, including when you contact customer service. Any information that you provide by interacting with our properties. Open bracket. Please note that some comments or information may also be visible to other users of our properties. Close bracket. Customer service information, such as any issues you raise and their resolution. Information about your interests in and use of various products, programs, services, and marketing preferences. Social media data. Personal information automatically collected. Websites visited before and after you use a property. Browser type and language. IP address. Hardware and software information. Gameplay data. Communications. Usage data. Purchase histories. We disclose this personal information to various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/entities, close bracket, which may use the personal information for their own marketing purposes. Various providers, vendors, and business partners, including platform providers, tournament providers, billing firms, customer service support, consultancies, information technology providers, cybersecurity providers, payment processors, accounting and auditing firms, partners and licensees who provide you with goods or services you have requested, or create applications or websites that benefit our player community. I'm going to take a breath here for a second. They also collect what websites you visited before and after you use a property. And what I hear there is it knows what browser you use, the websites you go to, what you have purchased, all off the game. Just your everyday use of a computer. And then you access it. And then you close the game, and it still is able to collect that information after you close the game. That's what I'm gathering from the personal information automatically collected section. Not to mention the communications and IP address and all that. Also the language, but yeah. What bullet was that? That was 3, jeez. Activision also publicly displays certain personal information about you, including third-party account information and gameplay information, on the properties or the properties operated by our third-party partners and licensees. For example, your platform provider username will be displayed on our leaderboards if you're a top player in a certain Activision game, whether or not you have an Activision account. If you have synced a third-party account with your Activision account, we or our third-party partners or licensees may make your username available to be searched by other users if you have not opted out of this feature. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. I apologize. Bullet 4. Sweepstakes, contests, and promotions. When Activision runs contests, sweepstakes, or promotions on our properties, we collect certain personal information from participants to enter them into the event and to deliver any prizes won. We combine that personal information with other personal information we have collected about you and use such combined information for the other purposes stated in this privacy policy, such as to create your account or engage in marketing. The personal information we collect and use for this purpose includes personal information provided by you, contact information including name, address, postal code, age and/or date of birth, email address, telephone number, and other information you submit, information you provide in order to claim any prizes you win, other content or information submitted by you, such as your response to a sweepstakes prompt. We disclose this personal information to various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, www.activision.com/legal/entities, close bracket, which may use other personal information for their own marketing purposes. Service providers, vendors, and business partners, such as entities conducting surveys or promotions on our behalf. In some circumstances, such as disclosures to business partners for their own marketing purposes, we make these disclosures only with your consent. Bullet 5. Advertising and marketing. To send you marketing communications and newsletters, personalize the advertisements you see on our properties and third-party online properties, and measure the effectiveness of our advertising, we may send the marketing and newsletters by email, in-app notifications, or SMS in eligible countries. The personal information we collect and use for this purpose includes personal information provided by you, contact information including name, username, date of birth, email address, telephone number, demographic information including your gender, date of birth, and country, information that you provide when you register with a property including when you link a third-party account to your Activision account, any information that you provide by interacting with our properties, open bracket. Please note that some comments or information may also be visible to other users of our properties, close bracket. Information about your interests in and use of various products, programs, services, marketing purposes, social media data. Personal information automatically collected. Websites visited before and after you use a property. Browser type and browser/language settings. IP address. Hardware and software information. Gameplay data. Communications. Usage data. Purchase histories. Mobile advertising IDs. Non-personal identifiers and other information from your mobile device. We disclose this personal information to various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, open bracket, activision.com/legal/entities, close bracket, which may use the personal information for their own marketing purposes. Service providers, vendors, and business partners, such as online advertising partners, including partners who use cookies to personalize, retarget, and measure the effectiveness of advertising, including our mobile games. These partners may combine this personal information that they have collected about you when you use their services, open bracket, or the websites and services of third parties, close bracket, to serve you more relevant ads or to improve the accuracy of their targeting and measurement systems. Social media platforms. If you interact with the properties on social media platforms, open bracket, or social media plugins and applications, close bracket, open quote, social media, close quote, close bracket, you acknowledge that we access your personal information such as name, username, or profile picture solely under your social media privacy settings and use it to tailor content marketing and improve and adjust user experience relating to Activision properties. And 1, give you exclusive content. 2, personalize your online experience within and outside our properties. And 3, contact you under applicable marketing preferences through social media, including through providing tailored marketing, or directly by sending you the latest news, special offerings, and rewards. When you post information publicly through the properties or on social media, it will be viewable by others of these sites, and we cannot prevent further use of the information by third parties. For more information about how your social media uses and protects your information, please refer to their privacy policies and terms of use. business partners when you give us your consent to disclose your personal information to them. Bullet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, bullet 6. Security and fair gaming. To protect and secure our properties, assets, network, and business operations, and to detect, investigate, and prevent activities that may violate our policies or be fraudulent or illegal, or when necessary to protect our property or rights or the safety of our employees, customers, or other individuals. To provide a fair gaming experience to all players, Activision uses anti-fraud, anti-cheat, and anti-toxicity technologies to prevent any cheating and bad behavior in our games. The personal information we collect and use for this purpose includes personal information provided by you, contact information, including name, username, date of birth, email address, telephone number, information that you provide when you register with a property, including when you link a third-party account to your Activision account, any information you provide by interacting with our properties. Open bracket, please note that some comments or information may also be visible to other users of our properties, close bracket. Personal information automatically collected, including by monitoring and recording on your device. Websites visited before and after you use a property. Browser type and language. IP address. Hardware, software information. Gameplay data. Communications, including without limitation. Chat, text, or voice communications. Usage data. Mobile advertising IDs, non-personal identifiers, and other information from your mobile device, activities on your device, including information about programs running alongside the game, as specified in the applicable terms of use or end user license agreement. We may disclose this personal information to various Activision Blizzard Group companies available here, activision.com/legal/entities, which may use the personal information for the purposes listed above. Service providers, vendors, and business partners such as platform providers, cybersecurity providers, tournament providers, and information and technology providers. Other entities when we believe that this is necessary to protect the rights, property, or safety of any person. Regulatory or law enforcement agencies. Bullet 7. Legal compliance. To comply with legal process, such as warrants, subpoenas, and court orders, to respond to lawful regulatory or law enforcement requests, such as when we have a good faith belief that we must do so by law, including but not limited to disclosure to law enforcement or other government officials in connection with an investigation of fraud, intellectual property infringements, or other activity that is illegal or may expose you or us to legal liability, to exercise, establish, or defend our legal rights, to protect the vital interests of any person, and to comply with applicable legal requirements. Such personal information includes any information requested through legal process that we believe in good faith is necessary to respond to lawful regulatory or law enforcement requests for the purposes listed above. We may disclose personal information to regulatory or law enforcement agencies, including jurisdictions outside of the United States where we have a good faith belief that the response is required by law in that jurisdiction, affects users in that jurisdiction, and is consistent with internationally recognized standards, our legal advisors or consultants. Bullet 8. Corporate change. We may disclose any personal information that we have collected about you in connection with the sale of our business or assets in the event of a merger, acquisition, reorganization, bankruptcy, or other similar event. Activision is not responsible for the privacy practices of Activision Blizzard Group companies, and the use of your personal information by the Activision Blizzard Group company will be governed by those specific companies' privacy policies you may find on each company's website. 6A, or 6 bullet 8. Bullet 8, letter A. Your U.S. privacy rights. Residents of some states have certain rights in relation to their personal information. We describe below the rights that may be available to you depending on your state of residence. Right to request your access personal information. Right here, by the way, side note, not part of the privacy policy. This is what I think has been driving everybody to request their personal information through their website. You may have the right to request up to 2 times in a 12-month period access to the personal information we have collected about you and information regarding the source of that personal information, the purposes for which we collect it, and the third parties and service providers to whom we sell, share, or disclose it. Please note that certain information may be exempt from such requests under law. Right to request correction of personal information. You may have the right to request that in certain circumstances we correct personal information that we have collected about you. Some information may be exempt from such requests under law. Right to request deletion of your personal information. You may also have the right to request that we delete personal information that we have collected from or about you. Some personal information may be exempt from such requests under law. For example, we need certain types of personal information so we can provide our properties to you. If you ask us to delete it, you may no longer be able to access or use our properties. Limit use of your sensitive personal information. California residents have the right to limit our use of the sensitive personal information if we use such personal information to infer characteristics about them. We do not currently use sensitive information for such purposes. In some states, we may be required to obtain your consent before collecting your sensitive personal information. Sale and sharing of personal information. Targeted advertising. Under the laws of some states, consumers have the right to opt out of the sale of personal information or the sharing of their personal information with third parties for targeted advertising. Open bracket, also known as cross-context behavioral advertising or internet-based advertising, close bracket. In applicable states, Activision automatically opts any users who it knows to be between the ages of 13 and 15 from receiving. Opts out. I missed the word out. I apologize. Activision automatically opts out any users who it knows to be between the ages of 13 and 15 from receiving targeted advertising. We share certain information with third parties who do work on our behalf for the business purposes we describe above. We may also allow third-party advertising companies to collect information about your activity on our websites and in our apps. For example, through cookies, mobile ad identifiers, pixels, web beacons, and social networking plugins. These advertising entities use information they collect to help us provide more relevant advertisements and for other purposes described in our privacy policy. You can control the sharing of your personal information for targeted advertising through our websites and apps in the following ways. To set up cookie controls and opt out of advertising cookies, including third-party advertising cookies, by clicking the quote cookie settings close quote link in the footer of our websites. You can also set up cookie controls through many browser settings, and you can use industry-wide opt-outs to control the use of cookies for interest-based advertising purposes. You may also opt out through the settings page of Activision mobile applications that may share your data for these purposes. You can find additional information in the mobile advertising section above and in our cookie policy, open bracket, www.activision.com/legal/cookie policy, close bracket. The personal information collected through these methods is associated with your browser or device. So if you'd like to opt out for this information, you will need to disable cookies or trackers as described above. Because you opt out, preference is stored in a cookie. If you reset your advertising ID or clear your cookies, then we will not recognize your device or your choices, so you must opt out again. You may also disable non-advertising cookies through your browser or device settings. In applicable states, where required, Activision recognizes do not track settings in the global privacy control. Personal information collected through Activision accounts. In addition to the opt-outs related to advertising above, we support the applicable state laws by allowing residents to opt out of the sale or sharing of their personal information for targeted advertising by visiting our privacy portal. Open bracket, support.activision.com/privacy, close bracket. Logging in with an account helps us to process your request. You can also submit a request to opt out of sales or sharing by emailing us at privacyrequests@activision.com. How to exercise your access, correction, and deletion rights. You may exercise your privacy rights to which you are entitled by submitting a request to us here, open bracket, support.activision.com/privacy, close bracket, or sending an email to privacyrequests@activision.com. To exercise your right to correction, please update your account information directly or send an email to privacyrequests@activision.com. For security purposes, we will verify your identity and may request information from you to do so when you request to exercise your privacy rights. If you have an online account, you are to interact with Activision. Logging into your account will serve to verify your identity and request. We may request additional information if we believe your account has been compromised. If you do not have an account with us or if you have reason to suspect that the security of your account is compromised, then we may request additional information from you to match out with our existing records to verify your identity, depending on the nature of the request and the sensitive information of the information sought. Some states permit you to designate an agent to make requests to exercise your rights as described above. We will take steps to both verify the identity of the person seeking to exercise their rights as listed above, and to verify that your agent has been authorized to make the request on your behalf, through providing us with a signed written authorization or a copy of a or a copy of a power of attorney. Once we have verified your identity, open bracket, and your authorized agent as applicable, close bracket, we will respond to your request as appropriate. If we are unable to complete your request, we will provide your information about the reasons that we could not comply with your request as required by applicable law. Profiling. We do not engage in, quote, profiling, unquote, in furtherance of decisions that produce legal or similarly significant effects. Right to non-discrimination. We will not deny, charge different prices for, or provide a different level of quality of goods or services if you choose to exercise these rights, unless allowed under applicable law. Appeals. Some state laws allow residents who are not satisfied with our response to the request to appeal our decision by contacting us as described in the written notice we will provide to you. Okay. What are we on? 10? 10. 10B. Additional privacy information for Alright, before I read the California residents. Thus far, nothing has been stated about the camera. About web camera. Except for... Alright, except for... personal information automatically collected, including by monitoring, recording on your device, communications, open bracket, including without limitation, chat, text, or voice communication, close bracket. Including without limitation. I would be very interested to contact Activision. I don't know if I will. But I do think it's worth somebody, because I'm almost certain that somewhere in here, they state where you can... Honestly, actually, you know what? If we go back up to the ESRB. I know, this is a total digression. I'm very sorry. Let's see. ESRB Privacy Certified has reviewed and certified that we are subject to audits of our properties and other enforcement accountability mechanisms. You may request information about what choices... I'm sorry, I'm reading here. Whether a company uses cookies, tracks IP addresses, or uses other passive means. So, I could be totally misreading this. This is me speaking as an individual. This is not at all what they're saying. But from my understanding as somebody without a legal degree. In Section 2, they state that you can as a member of the ESRB Privacy Certified Program, we have the right as the consumer to contact ESRB Privacy Certified Program and ask whether a company uses cookies, tracks IP addresses, or uses other passive means to collect information. Passive means, to me, personally, includes personal information automatically collected, and my concern is under Section 10, where it states uses in the U.S., I think it's one of the later bullets under letter A, Section 10, and it states communications including without limitation chat, text, or voice communications. Does that include visual communications? So I think if you're interested, not you, and this is not legal advice, this is not me saying somebody should, I would just be curious, personally, to reach out to the ESRB Privacy Certified Program and to ask if the webcam is considered a communication that is automatically collected under without limitation communications under Section 10 when discussing security and fair gaming. I would be very fascinated because I'm sure there's somewhere in here of all the emails I've read thus far that states that you can reach out to them and ask if this is something that they use or they do, right? But since they're, again, big brother ESRB in the eyes of Activision anyway, I don't know. I think that would be the way to go. If you're interested to get an answer whether or not to access your webcam instead of going into the DLL files and everything else, I think the place to go would be to the ESRB privacy certified program, which you can contact them here. That's not me saying to. That's not me saying to. Privacy at ESRB.org. That is not me telling you to. That is not me saying that's the way to do it. That is not me stating anything. I just, as a random person on the side of the street reading this document, that's where my mind goes. And if you have any other concern about how they use your privacy, I would go to them. Because Activision almost certainly... Alright, let me rephrase that. I have to be as unbiased as I can. It would make sense for a business to cover their butts. And as such, it's unlikely you would get a hard yes or no from these people. But, as the people overseeing Activision, again, going back to the FDA food people, right, the health inspectors, you can request to see the records of the restaurant that they inspect. You can request to see what privacy they're accessing as a member of the ESRB privacy, the ESRB privacy certified program. So, esrb.org/privacy/contact or privacy@esrb.org would be the way to go. If I were a betting man, which I'm not, and I'm not telling you to. However, I don't see what harm could come of it, personally. But again, I am not an attorney. I'm not a legal authority. All right? All right. That felt very important for me to point out. You know, I get it. Already, they have explicitly said that we give them allowance to record our voice, right? But it goes beyond that. What are they actually accessing on our computer? And if it's to the point where they're accessing your web camera, nowhere here has it stated that yet. Maybe it will at some point, but we don't have much more to go. We just don't. I mean, you see how much is left here. So, if this is left in the video, if you're hearing this, it's because they haven't mentioned anything explicitly about visual, a visual communication, or whatever it is, a visual thing. Something that they can collect that's visual. Unless it's on, because they do say multiple times also, to play devil's advocate, it says multiple times that they go on to update these policies online. You should always check those policies. I would just... I don't know. So, let's move on. (10B) Additional privacy information for California residents. Notice of privacy practices for California residents. Depending on how you interact with us, Activision may collect about you the following categories of personal information. For information about the purposes for which we use and disclose information and additional potential disclosures of personal information, please see users in the U.S. section above. Identifiers collected from you, our social media pages, or third parties, subscription service providers may be disclosed to our service providers and may be sold to or shared with business partners. Financial information collected from you may be disclosed to our service providers. We do not sell or share financial information. It's good to know. Protected classifications and other sensitive data collected from you may be disclosed to our service providers. We do not sell or share protected classifications and other sensitive data. Commercial information collected from you may be shared with our service providers. We do not sell or share commercial information. Geolocation information collected from you and our analytics and advertising partners may be shared with our service providers. We may sell or share course location information to our advertising partners. We do not sell or share precise geological information. Internet or electronic network activity information collected from you and our analytics and advertising partners may be shared with our service providers and may be sold to our advertising partners. audio, electronic, visual, thermal, olfactory, or similar information collected from you may be shared with a service provider. We do not sell or share such information. Visual. Inferences drawn about you collected from you and our advertising and analytics partners may be shared with our service providers. We may sell or share information with our advertising partners. Content and communications collected from you may be shared with our service providers. We do not sell or share content of communications. Information of contacts that you supply to us may be shared with our service providers. We do not sell or share such information. Yeah. Audio, electronic, visual, thermal. Anyway. We determine the retention period for each of these categories of personal information listed above on 1, the length of time we need to retain the information to achieve our business or commercial purpose for which it was obtained. 2, any legal or regulatory requirements applicable for such information. 3, internal operational needs. And 4, any need for the information based on any actual or anticipated investigation or litigation. California residents have the right to opt out of the sale or sharing of their personal information as explained in the sale and sharing of personal information targeted advertising section above. The reporting information required by the California Consumer Privacy Act regulations, that weird S symbol 999.371, is available here. www.activision.com/legal/ccpa-report, close bracket, period. We may need to collect your personal information in order to offer you the benefits and rewards you request. For example, we may need your email address in order to verify your account to deliver an in-game item. If we do offer you the chance to participate in such a program, your participation is optional. If you choose to participate, your participation will be subject to the applicable terms or conditions, and you may withdraw at any time. Your information has no real currency value or its equivalent. California Shine the Light Law. Since 2005, California Civil Code Section 1798.83 permits our customers who are California residents to retain certain information regarding our disclosure of personal information to third parties for their direct marketing purposes. We do not share our customers' personal information with third parties for their own direct marketing purposes without their approval. For inquiries regarding our disclosure agreement, or policy, please send us an email to privacy@activision.com or write us at Activision Publishing Incorporated, 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, CA 90404, USA, ATTN, privacy team / privacy policy. California privacy rights for minor users. Since January 1, 2015, California Business and Professions Code Section 22581 permits you, if you're a California resident under the age of 18, to view, correct, or remove information provided by you or publicly posted by you by accessing your Activision account through www.activision.com/ or another product or service as applicable in editing / removing your information. You will need your password to access your personal account. You may also send us an email asking us to remove certain posted content at privacy.activision.com. In the alternative, you may write us at Activision Publishing Incorporated, 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, CA 90404, USA, ATTN, privacy team / privacy policy. There you go. We will be happy to review, update, or remove information and / or content as appropriate. Residual copies of information and / or content that have been removed from your account and / or the properties may remain in our backup system for approximately 1 month. We may still retain your information to resolve disputes, enforce our user agreement, or comply with legal requirements. In this case, your personal information will be blocked from use for any other purpose. 10C, privacy information for Nevada residents. Under Nevada law, Nevada residents who have purchased goods or services from us may opt out of the, quote, sale, end quote, of, quote, covered information, end quote, open bracket, as such terms are defined under Nevada law, close bracket, for monetary consideration to a person, for that person to license or sell such information to additional persons. Quote, covered information, end quote, includes first and last name, address, email address, and phone number, or an identifier that allows a specific person to be contacted either physically or online. As discussed above, we share your information with certain third parties that we believe can provide you with offers and promotions for products and services of interest to you in the other ways described above. We do not believe that our sharing in this regard would qualify as a sale under Nevada law. Nonetheless, if you are a Nevada resident who has purchased goods or services from us, you may submit a request to record your preference to opt out, by emailing us at individualrights@activision.com. Please note we may take reasonable steps to verify your identity and the authenticity of your report. And Section 10. No! I hit my hand on the table. This, I can't. I'm actually going to leave what I said earlier in. Because in review of Section 10, ESRB up here, the privacy certified program, allows you to see whether a company, how you can access and change personal information, how a company ensures data security, quality, and integrity. I mean, you can. It seems like you are still able to contact these guys at this website here, right here, esrb.org/privacy/contact or privacy@esrb.org, to request not so much an audit, but information about how Activision uses or accesses your information. And there is nothing on this that talks about cameras thus far, except it does mention in the California section, and of course California, because they actually have good consumer protection laws, I'm not going to lie, for all the faults of California, and all the tragedies of California when it comes to the laws and everything. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm stuffy. As every state has. That is certainly not one of them, the way they treat their consumers. But under the California section, it says here, audio, electronic, visual, thermal. What is olfactory? Hold on. I know, this is getting ridiculous. Olfactory. I'm sorry, but I'm really curious. Of, relating to, or contributing to the sense of smell. I don't understand. So, like, maybe they're talking about if you have, like, the colorblind setting on. But I don't know. In thermal makes zero sense to me. I don't understand what that means. So I'm thinking this could be in reference to your webcam, which would be covered if you ever wanted to call them out. You really can't, because it's covered when up here it states personal information on my collected in regards to security and fair gaming communications, including without limitation, chat, text, or voice. In a way, they covered their own butts, because if that is referring to your webcam, which it doesn't specify, then it's covered without limitation when talking about the technology that they automatically collect whenever you access one of their properties. The only way I really see getting a direct answer, it would be contact ESRB. That is my 2 cents. It's not worth 2 cents. I don't even think it's worth 3 cents. But, you know, that is very interesting to me. Very, very, very interesting to me. So, who knows? Alright. Section 11. Users in the EEA in the UK. As set out in more detail below, we only process or transfer your personal information where we can rely on legal grounds and appropriate safeguards to do so. You also have additional rights regarding your personal information if you are located in the EEA in the UK. Legal basis for processing your personal information. We only process your personal information where we can rely on legal grounds to do so. We process personal information for the purpose set out below. Performance of the service. We process your personal information for the performance of our services to provide or support of our products, or for any other feature you request or enable. This includes, for example, using your personal information to administer your Activision account, provide contests or promotions in which you have enrolled, support purchases you make, support game functionality, provide global customer service, or provide a fair gaming experience by using anti-fraud technologies such as bans or blocks of accounts. Consent. We process your personal information based on your consent. This includes, for example, providing newsletters, direct emails, and surveys about our properties or products or services that may be of interest to you, targeted ads in our mobile games, and certain other marketing features. Legitimate interest. We process your personal information where we have a legitimate interest to do so. This includes, for example, processing to provide you with requested customer service or technical support, to debug and improve our current and future properties, in order to give you exclusive content, personalize your online experience with us, and contact you in accordance with applicable marketing preferences, to allow third-party partners and licensees, to create applications and websites that benefit our player community, open bracket, for example, tournaments, leaderboards, and gameplay statistic tools, close bracket, and for the establishment, exercise, or defense of legal claims, or whenever courts are acting in their judicial capacity. Legal obligation. We process your personal information for compliance with a legal obligation to which we are subject. Your rights to your personal information. You have the following rights in addition to your rights to view, correct, update, or request a deletion of personal information as set out in detail in the Accessing Information section above. To access or delete your personal information, you can also make requests here. support.activision.com/privacy. Close bracket. You may object to the processing of your personal information based on a legitimate interest on grounds relating to your particular situation. You may, in particular, control the extent to which we market to you, and you have the right to request that we stop sending you marketing messages at any time. You can use the methods described in the Accessing Information section above. In certain circumstances, you can request that we transfer personal information that you have provided to us. You can send your request to us here, support.activision.com/privacy. Where we rely on your consent in order to process your personal information, you have the right to withdraw such consent to further use of your personal information at any time. You can use the methods described in the Accessing Information section above to update your marketing preferences. For each of the rights described above, you can also send your request to us by using the contact details set out in the Contacting Us section above. We hope that we can satisfy queries that you may have about the way we process your personal information. However, if you have unresolved concerns, you also have the right to complain to data protection authorities. You can bring the complaint in your member state of residence, place of work, or where an alleged infringement of data protection law occurred. International transfers. Your personal information will be transferred to us and processed in the United States, where many of our central databases operate, or other countries where Activision Blizzard Group companies or vendors maintain facilities or business operations. We use European Commission approved contract clauses to protect your personal information. If you have questions, please contact us using the contact details set out in the Contacting Us section above. EU and UK representatives. For visitors from the EEA, Activision has designated, Activision Blizzard Ireland Limited, its representative in the Union. And for visitors from the UK, you may contact the EU or UK representative using the contact details set out in the Contacting Us section above. And section 12. 11, I'm sorry. And section 11. So, I mean, 11 isn't huge. It's just kind of telling you what the point of them accessing certain information is, which is great, mind you. I that's awesome. I'm glad they do that, obviously. I still have, quite to be blunt, a lot of questions. But it's not like I'm, concerned reading that. It's your usual run of the mill, it is what it is kind of thing. Yeah, they're protecting themselves, and everything that they're saying here, it's all to my eyes feels up to snuff. So yeah, man, yeah. Crazy. No more scrolling down. So sad. Alright, section 12. Disclosure to users outside the US, the EEA, and the UK. In addition, if you're a visitor to our website or other online products and services from outside the US, the personal information you provide will be collected, processed, and stored directly on or transferred to servers in the United States or other countries where Activision Blizzard Group companies or other partners, or vendors maintain facilities or business operations. No matter where the information is located, Activision takes commercially responsible measures to safeguard your privacy rights in accordance with its privacy policy. If you do not agree with the collection, processing, storage, or transfer of your information, please do not provide your information when requested, and stop using our websites and other online product services. Again, don't like it, don't buy it. And Section 12, just telling you that it stores on multiple servers across the world, and regardless of where it is, it seems like they have pretty standardized methods to protect, which is always a great thing. Section 13, final section, disclosure to users in Japan. Business operator handling personal information. Activision Publishing Incorporated, open bracket, address 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, California, aka CA 90404. Please see our website, open bracket, www.activision.com/company/about us, end bracket, for the name of the representative, end bracket. With respect to the information we collect and how we use it, section above, for clarity, Activision may analyze your personal information about your activities and transactions, etc., and use such information for marketing, advertising, or profiling purposes. With respect to the sharing information section above, for clarity, Activision may share your personal information as follows. 1. Personal information to be shared. Personal information described in the information we collect and how we use the section above. 2. Scope of those with whom your personal information is shared. Open bracket, open quote, joint users, end quote, end bracket. Domestic and overseas affiliates directly or indirectly controlled by Activision Publishing Incorporated. 3. Purposes of use by joint users. Purposes of use described in the information we collect and how we use it section, and sharing information section. There's a typo! There's a typo! Typo! You agreed to the typo! There's no space in the information section. Some lawyer's gonna get fired for that, watch. Above. Sorry. 4. Name and address and name of representative of the entity who is responsible for management of personal information to be shared. Activision Publishing Incorporated, open bracket, address 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, CA 90404. Please see our website, open bracket, www.activision.com/company/about us, close bracket, for the name of the representative, close bracket. Activision implements certain measures necessary and appropriate for the prevention of the leakage, loss or damage of personal information, and security management of personal information. If you have any questions about the measures for security management implemented by us, please feel free to email us at dpo@activision.com or send a letter addressed to the Activision Publishing, INC, period, comma, 2701 Olympic Boulevard, Building B, Santa Monica, CA 90404, ATT, and colon, privacy team / privacy policy, and period, and section 13, and privacy policy. So, in review, the Activision privacy policy is all-encompassing. It is all-knowing. There is nothing in here that they miss. They can access what websites you access, for crying out loud. And I don't believe that's only when you use their Activision website either, in case you're thinking that. I don't think so. I think it's even when you use one of their properties, one of their products. They can access your computer when you boot up the service. Full stop. The only thing I see in here about camera, which is my personal point of interest, because there's really no need for it, aside from, of course, the patent, is here again, section 10, letter B, indent bullet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Audio, electronic, visual, thermal, olfactory, or similar information collected from you may be shared with our service providers. It's from that sounds of it, not just sounds of it, what that means, and I feel confident saying this, they are collecting visual, thermal, and olfactory, as well as audio and electronic and similar information. How are they collecting the visual, thermal, and olfactory information? That's the question. And if you want to know that, yes, you could always, according down here, email. If you have any questions about the measures for security management implemented by us, you could email dpo@activision.com, or you're welcome to email the ESRB. And you might even be, I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't request an audit or something. But you can email them and question what they're doing, what Activision is doing on behalf of yourself. Because At the end of the day, you're a consumer of a company that allows ESRB to slap on the ESRB privacy certified program. So, there you go. That's privacy policy. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like. These aren't the hardest things in the world to make. I just sit here for 2 hours and talk. Although I don't know why I tried it without having the window open, tried having the window closed with it open. I always get stuffy towards the end in this room when I'm talking for 2 hours. These certainly do take up a lot of time. They do stress the throat. So if you guys don't mind leaving a like, I would appreciate it more than usual. Truly, I love this stuff. Maybe I should look into maybe I should look into like joining a legal firm or something. This is fun. Maybe I should become experienced in the field of legal. I like this stuff. I'm psychotic, I know. Not medically, maybe. No, I'm kidding. But this stuff is fun, and I really do have a passion for this kind of stuff because it's interesting to see what they're trying to work around. And it, you know, I don't know. I would like to see somebody one day email ESRB asking about you know what would be a good thing to do? Email the ESRB and ask directly, in the game Call of Duty by Activision Blizzard, why is it that in their privacy policy under section 10, under subsection, where is it? Oh, where'd it go? Under section 10, letter B, subsection, oh, what the heck? No, is it A? 10. Yeah. Why is it that in the game Call of Duty by Activision Blizzard, in section 10 of the privacy policy, they state, under personal information automatically collected, including by monitoring and recording on your device, under the personal information we collect and use for this purpose, under security and fair gaming, they state, quote, communications, open bracket, including without limitation. That's the wrong one. You get what I'm saying, though. Just a formal email to the ESRB asking why in this section, under this subsection, under this letter, this is stated. Because I don't know if you will ever get a true answer from Activision. And they're in their, as far as I'm aware, they're in the right to do that. Totally. But, hey. What do I know? I'm just a random guy on the internet who plays Minecraft and Call of Duty. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button. And should support, get some more videos just like that one. This one. That one, this one. I love you guys all so much. Take care. And please do remember that somebody somewhere loves you, even if they don't know it yet. And Jesus loves you. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. May God bless you. And I will see you in the terms of use. Maybe there will be something about the camera in here. So, take it easy, guys. Take care. And goodbye. I'm gonna go play zombies now. Thank you so much to channel members. Currently in the Modern Times tier, we have Lord Taco, and in the Future tier, we have Apocalypse Super. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. It really does mean the most to me, and it means the world. I appreciate you.